thing, I don't play MMOs. Not as in not usually, not as in I haven't renewed my WoW subscription in 4 years. I don't play MMOs.
As the non-gamer community sits about sipping lattes or playing hopscotch or whatever it is people who don't game do with their leisure time, they joke about how we're all running about with perfect animated recreations of ourselves in a multiplayer verse, when the truth is that for a lot of us the thought never crossed our minds.
When I game, I like having a personal experience, which means sitting in my room all hours of the night chowing down on junk food while my character roams the game world.
I want carefully scripted and expertly voice-acted characters inhabiting my game world, not a pop-up from Sluzz Cat asking me if I want to join their guild. It always seemed to undermine my naturally inflated gamer ego that I could run around proclaiming I am the hero of the world where 10 million other people were doing exactly the same thing.
So gamer world, here is my predicament. Since 2005, Obsidian have refused to provide me with Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 3.
I have begged and pleaded to no avail. 2008 toyed with my emotions again that the sequel had been confirmed, though nothing came of it. As a result, here I am 7 years later, ready to play Star Wars The Old Republic. For those of you not in Australia rolling your eyes because you've had this game for months, cut us some slack, we're behind.
If you've never played an MMO, or you play them all the time and you're here to yell at me about what I'm doing wrong, come watch me flail in the big bad world of multiplayer gaming.
Before anything else happens, I'm already in my element, character creation. The one thing that does catch my eye is the range of available species. The Old Republic offers up a choice of 9 other races, the availability of which is dependent on your choice of class and faction alignment. I chose to go with the Republic because everybody knows Sith hurt the AI feelings of defenseless NPCs, and that makes me sad inside. Between classes, I opt for the obvious choice. Pick whatever character has a double-edged lightsaber. Solution? Jedi Consular. I reduce the 9 selections to 5, and as I spot the option, my choice is made. Miraluka. I remember Visas from KOTOR being such an awesome character, and despite her constant dismissal of my in-game advances, I decide if you can't join them, be them. Now I'll leave you guys with the disclaimer that I have been known to spend 20 minutes adjusting the exact size and shape of my character's nostrils in The Sims, so I'll skip over this part. Half an hour later, I have Arya, spelt obnoxiously and with an obscene amount of vowels. The game starts with several epic cutscenes and paragraphs of dialogue floating backwards into space. All of a sudden, I forget I'm playing an MMO and get excited. Then something entirely unexpected happens. The game starts up and the Jedi NPCs speak, and the voice acting is good. Really good, actually. My veiled Miraluka replies, and then I realize, MMO or no, I'm still excited about this game. That being said, the world does feel empty. There's no lootable crates in the town, and standard guard NPCs just stare vacantly into space when activated. Without the citizen or random statement about previously being an adventurer, they didn't seem like inhabitants of the world at all. It definitely helps that the first monsters you fight aren't rats or wolves, they're hulking flesh raiders. Sure, they're weak as hell, but you feel crazy powerful taking out raider after raider by mashing your quick slot buttons. The game world is extremely dynamic. There are cutscenes throughout the place, and it's a wonderful relief not to run into those invisible walls or suspiciously placed mountains that Knights of the Old Republic was riddled with. The first Jedi I meet tells Arya how clever and gifted she is for a Padawan, which had me bitterly replying, yeah, I bet you say that to all the Padawans. There are dialogue options, so you can have some sway in how your character carries themselves, which goes a long way to making me feel invested in her future with the Jedis. It's a little hard to ignore the MMO monotony seeping through. Maybe it's because I should have moved on to a new area already, but killing my 800th flesh raider and not being able to turn in my quests for praise and accolades starts to get on my nerves. Leveling is great, having Star Wars universe equipment and powers is awesome, but it just feels a little hollow.
This is what I like to call the Mass Effect 1 syndrome. It's almost Knights of the Old Republic, but then it isn't. I had this disappointing revelation repeatedly while playing the first Mass Effect game.
The entire game felt like scratching a lottery ticket to find out the third image is a cherry, not a bell like the first 2 were. Multiple galaxies, character interaction, cookie cutter maps. Fun combat, sprawling sci-fi cities, no lightsabers. Possible choice to ignore Ashley, ability to kill off Ashley, must suffer through Ashley's boring family stories for experience.
Liberty Bell, 2 Liberty Bells, stupid fruit thing.
At the end of the day, Star Wars The Old Republic is surprisingly not a fruit. I'd be remiss not to mention that the promise of double-edged lightsabers doesn't have a lot to do with my ultimate level of enjoyment, but the game branches out from being a typical MMO. The well-integrated voice acting, dynamic game world, and genuinely exciting combat are all worth coming back for.
From where I am, I have to say, if you're after KOTOR 3, this isn't it. You won't find your sprawling cities with interesting inhabitants or your solo hero adventure. But that doesn't mean this game isn't enticing in its own way.
If you don't play MMOs, try this one out. The development of your character and the combination of dialogue and cutscenes go a long way to help bridge that gaping abyss between RPGs and MMOs.
For now, I'm gonna get back to this. The Republic isn't gonna save itself.